6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. A sum of 200 billion rupees has been allocated for social welfare from the budget. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held today at 2,888 examination centres across the country. The Minister of Education says his aim is to send all teachers to school classrooms as trained graduate teachers by the year 2027. The White Cane Day, or the International Day for the Blind, falls today. In news overseas, US claims North Korea is sending Russia military equipment. And in sports news, Cricket World Cup, India beat Pakistan in Ahmedabad by 7 wickets. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. State Minister Ranjit Singh of 200 billion rupees has been allocated for social welfare from the budget next year. Only 65 billion rupees were spent on social welfare programs from last year's budget. This is about threefold increase when compared to last year. A series of proposals targeting welfare activities and the development-oriented budget will be submitted to the Parliament. It includes several medium and long-term proposals to rebuild the country. It is also expected to expedite the state service and to digitalize the private sector. The large sum has been allocated for the social security program of the country. Special attention has been focused to provide relief to school children next year. All necessary arrangements have been made to hold the Grade 5 scholarship examinations today at 2,888 examination centres across the country. According to the Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jayasundara, a total of 337,957 candidates are scheduled to sit for the examination this year. The Commissioner General of Examinations is taking into account the disaster situation in some parts of the southern province, and a special program is in place for the students in the affected areas. All the examination centres are being prepared for conducting the scholarship examinations, and steps have also been taken to fumigate some centres for mosquito control. Also, for the convenience of the children, a special program is in place in those centres. The Minister of Education, Dr. Susir Premajant, says that there won't be untrained teachers in the school system by the year 2027, as all teachers are being subjected to a proper training. He said his aim is to send all teachers to the school classrooms as trained graduate teachers. Minister Premajant said that all the 4 fields of education in Sri Lanka, namely preschool, school education, vocational training and higher education, will be developed at the international level. All these 4 fields will be developed to the level of international standards parallel to the education systems in most other developed countries of the world, aiming to bring Sri Lankan education system to the international level in the future. The minister said this while participating as a chief guest in the centenary ceremony of Kopai Teacher Training College recently. The minister said that 19 colleges of education and 8 teacher training colleges in Sri Lanka will be merged, and a separate educational university will be established for teacher education. He also said that by getting professional training opportunities for students to get job opportunities in the country or abroad, as well as to open wide opportunities for self-employment to children. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. Early landslide warnings issued by the National Building and Research Organisation for multiple areas in 10 districts have been extended as heavy rainfall continues across parts of the island. Accordingly, the Building Research Organisation has upped the amber warning issued to Haldamulla Division Secretariat Division in the Badulla district to a red alert. A level 2 warning issued for several areas in the Badulla, Gaul, Hambantota, Kalutara, Kagalla, Mathara and Ratnapura districts. Meanwhile, the Department of Irrigation has lifted the flood warnings issued for the low-lying areas of the Ginganga Basin. Accordingly, the relevant decision was taken in view of the lack of significant rainfall over the past 24 hours, while the water level monitoring stations in Thavalama and Baddegama too recorded a decrease. However, the warning mentioned in the flood warning for the Nilvala River Basin has been extended for another 24 hours. The White Cane Day, or the International Day for the Blind, falls today. It provides a platform to highlight issues concerning the visually handicapped, mobilize programs and obtain support for implementation. The Sri Lanka Federation for the Visually Handicapped, together with its national and international affiliates, annually organize a series of activities to mark this day. The International White Cane Day, declared on the 15th of October 1969, is of a special significance to Sri Lanka since it was first declared on Sri Lankan soil at the second convention of the International Federation of the Blind. Sri Lanka Federation of the Visually Handicapped has said that various programs, including public awareness campaigns, will be held at the schools for the visually impaired in the country for today and tomorrow. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. A sum of 200 billion rupees has been allocated for social welfare from the budget. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held today at 2,888 examination centres across the country. The Minister of Education says his aim is to send all teachers to school classrooms as trained graduate teachers by the year 2027. The White Cane Day, or the International Day for the Blind, falls today. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The main news story for this morning: the government has reached an agreement with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to digitalize the agricultural sector. This will enhance the productivity and nutrition, paving the way for the agricultural revolution. A $250 million grant has been secured under this project to develop agriculture. The primary focus is to collect data in the agricultural sector to boost the nutrition of staple crops such as rice. A pivotal component of this collaboration is introducing innovative software tailored to harness the digital technology to optimize agricultural practices. This software will empower farmers with the tools to directly measure the yields from the fertilizer applications and efficiently manage crop outputs. It aims to aggregate data from 7 key ministries for a holistic approach to agricultural development. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
In Watchlight this morning, the Ministry of Education will decide whether to shut schools in Colombo by tomorrow as a preventive measure against the rapid spread of the eye disease, a highly contagious pink eye disease affecting an increasing number of school children, National School Education Director Sanath Jalad said yesterday. The principals of national schools in Colombo and others informed the ministry that they have had many students infected with pink eye. The authorities have to consider the temporary closure of schools as a means to break the chain of transmission of the virus and provide maximum protections to our students. The ministry would decide on closing schools only after the consultation with the health authorities, doctors, zonal education directors and public health inspectors. That was the Watchlight, and now let's move on to the headlines of the world news. US claims North Korea of sending Russia military equipment. New Zealand election, National Party's Chris Luxon claims victory. France raises security level after school knife attack. Those were the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. US officials have accused North Korea of supplying vast amounts of military hardware to Russia for use in Ukraine. Pyongyang has supplied up to 1,000 containers of equipment and munitions in the recent week, the National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby said. Officials also released photos of what they were. There were 300 containers assembled for transport in Naijin, North Korea. Last month, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited Russia to discuss potential military cooperation. The opposition National Party has won the New Zealand election, taking enough seats to form a coalition with its allies on the right wing of politics. Incumbent Prime Minister Chris Hipkins of Labour fought national leader Chris Luxon to concede defeat. Mr. Luxon thanked the national voters and said they had reached for hope and voted for change. It marks a rapid revelation from Mr. Luxon, who became an MP in the year 2020 and national leader only a year later. The French Prime Minister has put the country on its highest state of counter-terrorism alert after an assailant fatally stabbed a teacher and seriously wounded 2 others. Witnesses say the knifeman shouted, "Allahu Akbar," or "God is the greatest," during the attack at a school in Arras, northern France. He is now in custody. The attack emergency level has been issued in previous counter-terror cases. The alert can trigger extra security deployments and public warnings. And that was the world news.
Development News.
The members of the Board of Governors of Asian Development Bank held detailed discussion with Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena on Sri Lanka's financial requirements for projects for the next 5 years. Expressing satisfaction over Sri Lanka's quick stabilization of the economy after last year's crisis, they said the ADB would favorably respond to proposed new projects on digitalization and IT, public transport, human resources development and education, water and small and medium enterprise development. They also praised the efforts of the government to provide social security support to vulnerable groups in the society. That was the development news. And now let's move on to sports news. India demolished Pakistan as the most eagerly awaited contest of the World Cup so far turned into a one-sided anticlimax in Ahmedabad yesterday. Pakistan have never beaten India in the men's 50-over World Cup, but looked to be laying a platform to challenge the hosts when they reached 155 for the loss of 2 in the world's largest cricket stadium. Unfortunately, Captain Babar Azam was bowled by Mohammad Siraj for 50 to begin a collapse of 8 wickets for 36 runs, and Pakistan spiraling to 191 all out. The target seemed so unlikely to trouble the powerful India's batting lineup. Although Shubham Gill and Virat Kohli were both out for 16, home skipper Rohit Sharma batted magnificently for an 86 that put the results beyond doubt. Rohit shared 77 for the third wicket with Shreyas Iyer, who ended on 53 not out as the victory was sealed with almost 200 overs to spare. That is the sports news. Business news coming up.
Shakti. Refresh your mind and body. Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
In business news, in a joint effort to reinvigorate the tourism industry, the government has tabled a groundbreaking proposal for free tourist visas targeting visitors from 5 countries. The countries set to benefit from this potential visa waiver program are China, Russia, India, Thailand and Indonesia. The initiative, as outlined in a statement from the Tourism Ministry, seeks to draw a significant influx of tourists, positioning Sri Lanka as a leading global travel destination. That is the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account. NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has proposed setting up of a joint economic council with the Arab Emirates to promote trade and investment cooperation between the two countries. The suggestion was made when the UAE Minister of State called on the Prime Minister at Temple Trees recently. The UAE Minister agreed that official negotiations should commence soon to finalize the cooperation of economic partnership agreement for enhancing economic ties, as there is immense potential in the trade, energy and tourism sectors, as well as an increase in the investment in renewable energy projects in Sri Lanka. That is in economic news and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report: showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island after 2 p.m. Heavy falls over 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in the Uva, Central, Sabaragamuwa, Eastern and the Northern Provincial. A few showers may occur in the coastal areas of the western and southern province during the morning hours. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces during the morning. And to conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. A sum of 200 billion rupees has been allocated for social welfare from the budget. The Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held today at 2,888 examination centers across the country. The Minister of Education says his aim is to start by the year 2027. The White Cane Day, or the International Day for the Blind, falls today. In news overseas, US claims that North Korea is sending Russia military equipment. In sports news, it's Cricket World Cup. India beat Pakistan in Ahmedabad by 7 wickets. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news. And now it's back to your Sunday morning host, my good friend Abhishek Kumarage, to brighten up your day.